Christy, one of the criticisms, I guess, is that the president seems all too willing to go to either Venezuela or Saudi Arabia, hat in hand, to try to get them to increase production, but hasn't made the same type of overtures to the domestic producers. And that doesn't seem to make any sense. Can you explain it?
Well, I'm not sure that I agree that he hasn't made the same overture to domestic producers. I mean, the Biden administration has issued more permits than the Trump administration month over month. He's asked the domestic producers to produce more. There are two reasons for these record gas prices that we're seeing right now. One has to do with the war in Ukraine, and the other has to do with refining capacity that just hasn't come back online since the pandemic. So the president has requested that domestic producers do increase production, and he's been told resoundingly that they're not going to.
That's not exactly right. There's different than getting leases versus permits is one thing. There's no additional drilling on federal lands. That was one of the first things that was done.
But the courts threw that out, and they've moved forward with their plans for drilling on public land. So, I mean, I'm not sure.
Vivek, do you think that the Biden administration has done all it can to try to get U.S. domestic production rolling? The pivot from we want to cut production to transition to clean energy that they were so proud of. I'm going to shut down the fossil fuel industry, which was a promise made again and again in his campaigns. Suddenly they seem to distance themselves from that. No, it never happened. We never tried to cut production when that was a stated goal.
Yeah, look, I find it ironic that the Biden administration is now blaming oil companies for producing less oil when this was an explicit policy aim, one of the top policy aims of the administration. And you could even listen to climate czar John Kerry this week saying that we absolutely should not be drilling for more oil. Not only the revoking of permits to drill on federal land. I'll also remind you the subsidies for wind and solar, of course, increase the relative cost of capital for any kind of oil production project. And furthermore, if you think about the Keystone Pipeline project, this is the one that hurts me personally, as I view the situation as a citizen the most. That would have been 840,000 barrels of oil per day from the tar sands of Alberta to the Gulf Coast of Mexico. Let's keep in mind that Canada is a democratic nation and an ally. And instead, you have this administration now, shamefully, in my opinion, begging dictators from countries like Venezuela to Saudi Arabia to produce more oil. But the worst part of this geopolitically, actually, Joe, was I thought under-discussed. It was the fact that the Biden administration was among the few parties lobbying the EU against adopting the Russian oil import ban. Keep in mind, this is actually what's financing Putin's war machine, even as the United States, with the other hand, sends $40 billion to Ukraine to fight against Russia. So I think this is senseless policy. It's clearly an ironic criticism because this was the exact policy aim implemented by the Biden administration in the first place. If there's just one narrow sense in which he's correct, Joe, it's that, you know what, the private sector is responsible in one way, but it's not the way that President Biden mentioned. It's actually because of the ESG movement, where the large asset managers have also put pressure on these oil companies to cut production. But that's not the sense in which he was blaming the private sector. It's something different altogether.
Christy, there's also talk of resurrecting some mothballed policies from Nixon and Carter years of a windfall profits tax. Do you think taxing windfall profits of the oil companies would increase production or decrease production? Would prices go higher at the pump or lower at the pump?
You have to structure it so however you do it, you're taxing the windfall profits and it's not passed on to the consumers. And I think there are definitely ways that can be done and incentivize more production and not make sure that it's slowing down. I just want to interject here, though. You're confusing climate policy and the transition to clean energy and what we need to do right now, given the war in Ukraine and these surging prices. And yes, there has been a change because consumers are hurting, and there is a need to address that right now. And that's what you're seeing the Biden administration do. And really, we have to be able to address this transition. There's never going to be energy independence at the bottom of the well. So we can both secure ourselves, have a better national security policy by transitioning to clean energy, and address the problem that we have to do right now. Yes, it's complicated, but you've got to do both at the same time.